Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be taking a look in this training module at doing some very simple idle control tuning. This is going to be learning how we can change our idle targets and what they represent and what to look for in a VCM scanner as you're starting to scan and watch your data coming out of your PID channels within your idle control PID logging list, what we need to look for, and determining what mode we might be potentially operating in, and then programming the desired idle speeds around those different modes. There's a little bit of layers to this. We're going to jump in right now and take a look at where we can edit our idle control targets and then talk about some of the strategies here for changing some of the parameters. Let's go up here to File. Let's go to Open, and we're going to open up any of our stock equivalent files found in our sample calibration files folder in our HPT Gen 3 Coyote Training Course main folder. I'm going to go in here. Let's open up a 2022 Mustang GT Auto stock. All right, now that we have this open here, let's jump to Engine, and let's jump over here to Idle. We have a general RPM, airflow, and torque tabs for programming that we can do in here. We're going to be focusing in this tutorial just on the RPM specific tab. In here, we're going to find that all of the different modes we might be operating in, we'll find that could have a different target idle speed compared to park neutral drive for an engine that's fully warmed up. So let's explore this real quick. Let's talk about what we have in here in terms of our programming, and then what we need to pay attention to if we're changing our desired target idle speed. So we're raising it up most likely from some of the stock values if you choose to do that. So first things first, in our RPM tab, we're going to find our area here under General, Flex Fuel. There's a Flex Fuel blend factor low and high. I have not seen any changes in effect by going in here and moving these values around. Leave these alone. They don't seem to do anything, at least that I can tell from doing my testing. So I'd say skip over these values, don't need to update them. The next main area of concern is our transmission-based set point. We can find here, if we take a look, this is going to be park neutral and drive. This is our desired target idle speed. This is an automatic file. We can also see park neutral and drive for active front steering. When we're making changes to this for an auto car, we want to make sure that we're editing the values here the same all throughout these programming scalars. So under park neutral, for example, if I want to bump up my desired idle speed to 750 when I'm in park neutral, I'll program it here, but I'm also going to program it here as well. Let's say I want to bump up my drive to 700, so I'm in drive. I don't want to be at 600, I want to be at 700. We'll do it into both of these areas here. Simple enough. Now we have our temperature-based idle control targets. We have our, taking a look, base, startup, and cold start emissions reduction. This is what we want our idle speeds to go to when we're in either of these various conditions. Now this is going to be based on our cold operations, which is both a cold and a warm. So in this case, the base will be 1,000 RPM after we've exited cold start emissions reduction. So we know we're in cold start emissions reduction for a brief period of time until the catalyst temperature gets heated up. Then we move into optimal stability. If we're below 120 degrees, we will call out in park neutral or drive here. Again, we're programming this. This is going to be assuming we're on a warm engine and we've fired off the engine's ran for a period of time. If we're sitting there and idling, we've came out of cold start emissions reduction, we're below 120 degrees, we'll find that we're commanding then 1,000 RPM. Startup here is for a cold start. This is where we want the engine's speed to go to when we first fired off the engine. You'll find the engine fires off, it idles higher, and then it transitions its way down to cold start emissions reduction or the base idle target, whatever we call out here. Now, if we go here, 120 is our exit, we'll start moving into the warm. On here, it's going to be calling out base and startup, what we want our two idle speeds to be at, 800 or 1,000 RPM. It's not going to use these full values until at least 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Between 120 and 160, we're going to be interpolating between our values here. So if we're closer towards, let's say 150 degrees, we may not find that the base sits at 800, it might be at something like 850, 875. we'll find that if we're closer towards this exit temperature, let's say 130, we may be a little bit higher value, maybe something like 950. So it's going to bias between what our values are here, called out here, based on between the two operating temperatures for engine coolant temperature. So that's simple enough. Now in this case, we want our warm idle, so we've been driving around for a few minutes. This is what we want our idle speed to be parked at, either in drive or park neutral. The fact that these are higher than the values here, we're not going to worry about changing any of these values. Now, if you wanted to change your values to something like 900 RPM, well then you would have to look at your warm base value here and also set that to 900. The fact that this is sitting higher than my normal park neutral and drive targets, I don't need to change this, so we can leave that alone. Taking a look at the startup, we'll find in here 800 RPM. Again, this is going to be there's going to be some threshold. They don't give you the temperature to consider for a hot startup. It's probably going to be something like 220 degrees. It'll reference this for the startup RPM instead of the startup at 1000 RPM. So
thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.